selling ourselves, selling our data so that some corporation can get more ad revenue for, maintaining our attention and our focus. There's nothing in that nothing in that recipe benefits us as individuals. All we do is we get more ads.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Into the Cipher State. I am very sorry about the delay. I hope you can hear me nice and clearly. We've had a few technical issues to begin with, but we are all live, and I very much appreciate you joining us today. We are Galactica.com. We are a decentralized layer 1 blockchain where we try and reverse these parasitic business practices of the corporate-owned internet and return control of your data and its value from big tech companies back to you. Now, the only way to protect yourself in the age of centralized control and artificial everything is to own yourself. And the only way to own yourself is with Galactica. So if you're tired of the hype and you believe in Web3's potential, we are here to make it happen. Go to galactica.com/links to get started. My handle is citizen42.gala within the Cypher State, but you can call me Dave if you wish. My friends call me Dave, so you are all definitely much counted as my friends. I think we're just going to do a very quick disclaimer before we start. So before we go, it's important to remember that myself, any team members, including CosmosHOSS on the team panel up here, any one of our sentinels up here, we are your guides to navigating the Cypher State. But we are not your financial advisors. We're terrible at it. We lose every time. Like the charts just don't like us. It's red candles all day. Just don't listen to us on that particular front. Our guests' opinions are their own, and nothing said in this space constitutes financial or investment advice. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? It's nice to see everyone on the speaker panel again today. CosmosHOSS, my legendary co-host. How are you doing this week, man? How are you doing? How has the week treated you?
I'm doing real well, man. There's an excessive heat warning where I live at, but I think it's all good. I like the heat, I'm the only weirdo that's outside sometimes, but it's all good.
Yeah, I've heard America is like burning. Yeah, I've heard about this story.
Yeah, and then where I'm located at, it's not like the southern part of America, but it's not like the northernest part either. But it's like it's been warmer here than even where it's like traditionally like super hot at all the time. So it's been wild, man. It's like no rain. We usually get a lot of rain. It's been just like dry and hot. And it's good to go outside though, and then if you want to get a sweat in, it's like being in a sauna. Like so, it's pretty good for that part of it. But other than that, really not much you can do outside. To be honest with you, it's whatever. That's why we're inside, and we're always on the computer anyhow. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those times where all the crazies come out and they like put a little tent outside their fridge, like Homer Simpson in that episode of The Simpsons. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good
you
time.
you you just have to worry about the power again. Our power went out once. It was kind of annoying. Went out for like quite a few hours, and I was trying to get work done, so it was like pretty annoying. But other than that, it's like whatever.
Well, send all your love to CosmosHOSS. Pray that he survives the heat blast in the chat. We will send you our love, mate. In the meantime, let's go on with the show. So if everyone could do me a massive solid, if you could check out that little purple pill somewhere on your screen, give us a like and a retweet on this space. We always try and be educational. We always try and provide value on this space. So if you can, any support that you can give us is massively appreciated. It really, really is. Okay, so I'm just going to jump around a couple of people on the stage. Just say hello. We've got Chris B. How you doing, Chris? What's up, bud?
Hey, how are you doing? I'm very busy this week and just want to say hello. I will be here for maybe an hour and just listening today. So I wish everyone a nice evening and a lot of great discussions here on the panel.
You know it, Chris. You know it. We're happy to have you up, man. And we got Triggs. We got Triggs up on stage. How you doing, my friend? It's been a week.
Yeah, doing pretty good. Always glad to be back. It's been nice here. I'm in the US, but I'm not melting. It's
We got Tricks up on stage.
nice out.
My friend? It's been
That's a fun little echo. I think we need to try and figure that one out. 2 seconds.
Yeah, I muted. I got that. I muted it.
Okay, cool. Oh, right. In any case, let's jump on. So we also have, let's pick someone at random out of the hat. Jimper. How you doing, Jimper?
Yeah, I'm doing just fine. I'm so happy that we have a talk about IA, because I knew absolutely nothing about it before I joined Galactica, and Actually, I think I did not even like it when I saw that by other people, and now I really enjoy it. So I would really love to know a bit more about it,
Oh
about the
yes,
rights and all this.
absolutely.
Yeah,
We are all here to learn, and that's why we're here. I absolutely love either educating people or just learning something. Like I swear I learned so much from these spaces.
exactly.
All right, okay. Now we got Taro up on stage. How you doing, Taro?
Good evening. Good evening. Not too bad. Not too bad. I think it's been quite an exciting week. I think Galactica, like the past, I guess even just the past 2 weeks, I think they've been quite interesting. I guess just for anyone, the Galactica tournament results are out, and just if you're in the top 100 or top 10, make sure to double check the leaderboard. I did reply to this space with a link to the website to get to look at the leaderboard. If you're part of the top 100 or top 10, you can claim your USDC reward and later on your SBT. So yeah, really exciting. Just double check the leaderboard. You can probably claim a prize. And I think also I just saw that real quick on the website. There's been Testnet updates. I don't know if you're going to cover this today.
Yeah, we'll mention it. We'll mention it. No, it's.
Cool.
I'm glad you spotted that one.
Cool. And, oh yeah. Well, I probably can't stay for long, but yeah,
No
just saying hi to
problem. No
everyone.
problem. I mean, I actually have a really bad back right now, so sitting down is actually uncomfortable for me. So we'll try and make this one like under the hour if we can. Maybe depends on how heated the conversation gets later. So we'll see.
Sounds good. Hopefully your back feels better soon.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, and thanks for linking up the rewards.
What did you do to hurt your back?
I sat down too much. I worked too much. That's the issue. It's a lower back thing. Like I used to be a carpenter, so it was all upper back, and now I'm sitting down too much doing like this work, and it's lower back. It's great. You just can't win.
Dude, that sucks, bro. Because I remember that happened to me like 2 years ago. I actually like threw my back out. I was in my backyard, no pun intended. I couldn't get up, man. I just went to the ground. I literally just couldn't get up. And at the time, I had my shitty job that I had, and I worked at home. And I literally had to call off because I couldn't sit down. Like I had to like lay back. It was the worst, man. So yeah, I feel your pain, brother, man. Just make sure you get that stretching in because that shit. Once you hurt your back, you never want to hurt it again like that because it's terrible.
Man, I know, man. Yeah, definitely doing the whole movement every half hour thing, except this hour. This hour, I'm staying here. But in any case, like movement every half hour, I used to all the good stuff. We'll see if we can make myself feel better. Okay, let's move on, guys. Like, if anyone else wants to do a quick intro, then please, by all means, put your hand up. But for now, we just want to move the space along because, like I say, we want to crack on with the whole thing. We've got a few topics to get through today. So on Galactica News, as Taro said, we've got some cool stuff coming up. We've hit over 15,000 users on our Telegram mini app, which is kind of awesome. So that was a really good win. We've also had these testnet upgrades, which is really cool. We've hit, for reference, we've actually just hit over our millionth block. So that's like 3.5 months, somewhere in between there of time. So over 1 million blocks now. And we really, really appreciate everyone who tests on the testnet. It provides invaluable feedback. So thank you so much. Anyone who wants to learn more about that, just click on the development tab on galactica.com and you'll be able to check out the testnet and see if you can help us out with testing. There could be, if it's all, everything adds to your reputation. Remember that. Everything adds to your reputation with Galactica. So it could be helpful in the future. You never know. So as far as the actual testnet upgrades, we've got improved metadata for the soulbound tokens. We've got much better concurrency handling for the ZK certificate registry, which means that you should be able to create your ZK KYC SBTs a lot quicker and all that stuff. It shouldn't take 10 minutes anymore. It should be more like 2, which is great. We've got multi-chain SDK support for the Snap API. We've got the ability to link X accounts for secure ZK certificates. We've got We've got a new streamlined user privacy and KYC process. We've optimized our storage and processing speeds, and we've introduced brand new cryptographic components in the form of some really, really slick FHE tech. So yeah, we've done an awful lot of stuff. Definitely recommend reading the article. It should be one of the latest ones from the Galactica.com account. So if you haven't followed the Galactica.com account, make sure you follow it. Okay, and we have some very super secret news that we'll be releasing next week at some point, so just keep an eye out for that too. Right, as far as news, guys, one of the big ones that's come up recently is the SEC, the good old SEC. I'm not sure how they actually, if they've ever not been in the news, but in any case, they've closed their investigation into consensus. So claps in the chat, please. Just claps, wonderful stuff. They basically have stopped their investigation into consensus, MetaMask wallet, and essentially the Ethereum 2.0, the proof of stake stuff. The SEC confirmed it would not recommend any enforcement action. And following this announcement, obviously the price of ETH did a little bit of a jump, not too significant, but it did a nice little jump. And Consensus, led by its CEO Joe Lubin, they received the official letters stating the closure of the probe today. So that's absolutely awesome. I have a quick question for the panel, if anyone is willing to answer. So do we think that the SEC backing down kind of signals a relaxation of the SEC's crusade against crypto? Or is this just an isolated incident? And do we think that this will have broader implications for other top L1s? I'll throw that open to anyone, but we'll go to Hoss first if you have anything.
No, I don't really have too much about that. To be honest with you, if you can repeat the exact question that you were asking me.
Yeah, sure. No worries, man. So, like I say, the SEC's closed its investigation, right? So do we think that the SEC backing down on ETH signals a general relaxation in like the SEC's crusade against crypto? And do you think it might have broader implications for other L1s?
No, I mean, it's obviously a good move, but like for some reason, maybe some of those individuals were invested in Ethereum or whatever, but it seems like Ethereum has always gotten a free pass, even back in the day whenever the whole them versus XRP ordeal happened. It was like everything, no offense, but everything that like Ethereum did was an ICO, was a security and everything else. Now it's decentralized. It's more decentralized and all that, but they've got a free pass. I think Ethereum ETF is inevitable, but I also think that doesn't just necessarily mean right away that everyone else is going to be getting ETFs and free passes. It's almost like Ethereum has been kind of considered the chosen one from the regulatory compliance and the boomers or whomever else has their hands in the cookie jar, in my opinion. But as for consensus, the wallet and all that, I think that's great, right? Because it was kind of annoying. I know for a while they were like tracking IPs and everyone was like, hey, don't use the regular ones, use these different RPC nodes. And yeah, because that's not anyone's business, like tracking people's IPs. But you should be using a VPN in general, I think, just from my standpoint. But I don't know.
Absolutely.
I digress.
Yeah. No, that's completely fair. Completely fair. So yeah, I mean, let's just see, guys. I mean, it might boost your bags. That's cool. But in any case, it's a lesson. It's a relaxation just against ETH, like Hoss says. I think Bitcoin and ETH, I think they target Bitcoin and ETH primarily just so they can set precedent. So they did Bitcoin, then they went to ETH. So Bitcoin as a monetary institution, and then ETH as like a computer, essentially like crypto's computer. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. We've got Adobe. So let's go to Adobe, everyone, because that's an interesting topic. So Adobe, for anyone who doesn't know, who hasn't seen all the internet drama and all that stuff, it changed its terms of service like quite recently. So I actually changed it maybe, I believe, like 3 to 4 weeks ago. But it actually, and people kind of went under the radar, but people are now not happy about it at all. So the crux is that they updated their TOS, like I say, like a month ago. Then last week, they forced a pop-up in all of their software, like all the creative suite of products. And basically it said that it gave them the new terms of service. and which essentially asked for an infinite sublicense for your work, for basically anything that you created using their products or anything that you uploaded to their servers. And also the right to train their AI models on any of that work as well. Obviously, this went down like a ton of bricks. But also, the real kicker was that this pop-up that they put on their software essentially had no out. So like it was either you accepted this new pop-up TOS, you had one shot at this, there was only one shot. And if you didn't accept it, you no longer had access to the Adobe Creative Suite. So that was, yeah, that's what caused all the fire, I believe. So yeah, I just want to first ask, has anyone had any experience with this so far? And any initial thoughts before we carry on? Because there have been some updates since. So. Okay, we'll just go straight into the updates then. No problem at all. Following that, they updated their terms again once they realized that their customers were actually unsubbing and it was affecting their bottom line. And today they actually updated them again in an attempt to try and calm down their customers and all this public outrage. So what they updated in very broad terms was that no one but you owns your content, but we need to access your content to operate Adobe applications and services. And we do not currently train generative AI models on your or your customers' content unless you've submitted that content to the Adobe stock marketplace. So just beware of the language there. We don't currently, or we haven't, all that kind of language is all either current or past tense. They're leaving things open for the future. Hoss, go on.
What Adobe product was that for that?
All of them. That was the entire Creative Suite.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a point against Adobe. I just find it really annoying and irritating to even try to use it to sign things. Like, does anyone else have that issue? I don't know. People have to sign documents or whatever.
What, like
I
with
feel like
Acrobat?
never. It like yeah, it like just never works anymore. It's
No, I
kind of
agree.
annoying.
Acrobat's like a really bloated piece of software now. It really is. Yeah.
It used to be fine. Like I used to sign shit all the time. Like I use Adobe like every day at my old job, and it was fine. And then like I don't know, maybe since these updates you were saying about 4 weeks ago, it kind of resonates with me. I just feel like it's shit. Like anytime someone's like wants me to sign something in Adobe, it's just like garbage. It doesn't work. I don't even know how to get it to work. It's like I don't have time to sit here and figure it out. I'm clicking, to try to like enter like characters and stuff. It just like doesn't work. It's like I don't know.
No,
But
I
yeah,
agree. I agree.
it's
I think most of their software is like very bloated at this point. Like it's still industry leading in a lot of ways in some of their pieces of software, but it's incredibly bloated.
Yeah, there was this really good meme I was watching. My wife showed me it last night about Adobe. It was funny. I need to find it and put it in the chat because it was hilarious. But it was talking about like in order to update your Adobe, how annoying it is, and you need to shut everything down. And it had this like task manager like just blowing this computer up and stuff. It was so funny because it is. It's like anytime there's an update too, I just find it to be like just like annoying. It's like the most annoying thing to update is Adobe. But
Yeah, and
it's still
it
good.
breaks
I
often
like
too.
yeah, it breaks often. I like it though. Like I think it's good, but yeah, I think it is over bloated. Like they need to remove it or something, or you should be able to customize it a bit more so it's not so bloated. And it like eats up your computer too. Like if you have it running, it's kind of like I don't know, too much. But what was your point about like were they able to use your data when you were like using it?
So yeah, the point was that the terms of service that they brought in, and then they subsequently forced you to accept, or you lost access to your data and your files with them. That terms of service essentially gave them an infinite sublicense to your work and the right to train their AI models on that work as well.
Oh yeah, that's that's bullshit. Because it's a paid model too. You're paying to use Adobe. It's not like it's free,
Oh yeah, it's
right?
expensive too.
So
Anyone who
yeah,
has Adobe
exactly.
knows what I
So
mean.
I would still be annoyed about it if it was a free product. I can maybe understand because there's really never anything that's free in life. There's always some sort of back door. Nothing's free. But like if you're paying, and I know Adobe's expensive because I pay for it. And I don't know if I have every single product. I think I do actually. It's not cheap. So for me to pay whatever I'm paying a year to use it, and then them to be able to take my data and then use it to make money or do whatever, that's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Triggs, you've got your hand up, mate, please.
Yeah, I feel like this is probably one of those situations kind of similar to the ledger thing we were talking about last time, where it's like they put out this update and they notified people of it, and the content of that update, involves some legal speak that has implications. But the reality is, if you're using this software or any software like it, all of these organizations are doing the same thing. Like every single one of them wants to harvest your data and feed it into an AI. And so you just kind of have to assume that every product that you're using, whether you pay for it or not, unless it explicitly explains how you retain complete sovereignty over your data and they do not use it, like I think you just have to assume that they are farming your data. I don't know. That just
100%.
seems
Yeah.
like
I mean, that was actually going to be my main question from this. Do you guys think that Adobe was like hoping to actually force people to sign up to handing over all of their ownership of their data, or were they actually like they've said in like in an update that the entire incident was a result of the overuse of broad legalese language in their TOS, and they never intended any harm. Like, do you think it was that, or do you think it was just them actually hoping just for future access to all this data?
yeah, I would imagine that they were, yeah, probably just hoping to sneak it in there, so that they could use it inadvertently in the future whenever they want. I mean, the whole update of language specifying, like, we haven't done it yet, we're not doing it now, end of story. It's like, it's pretty heavily implies that they are seriously hoping that they can have access to using your data in the future at will without having to ask you for like itemized permission.
100%. Yeah. I think like this is one of those times where it really reminds me how valuable the open source community is, and how valuable the other options really are. Even some of the closed source stuff that just has more trust and more honesty is better than this. This is like you're literally surrendering your entire, like if you're an artist, you're surrendering your life's work to a company who can then just turn around and take it, and then even train a competing product to do your artwork in your style even better than you with in greater volume. It's absolutely mad.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it brings back to the conversation we had last time about AI, and like, has AI made you more? You asked the question if AI has made us more aware of our data or less concerned with our data. And my answer was that AI really made me a lot more concerned, and this is just a perfect example of why. Because Adobe absolutely is trying to maximize their potential of AI. Like you made the phrase earlier, that they meant to do no harm, or that they were expressing that they meant to do no harm. And I truly believe that they meant to do no harm to their bottom line. Like that's absolutely what they meant to do no harm to. Whether or not people
Perfect.
are
Yeah.
upset about it, that's irrelevant.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that you can always trust a company to protect their bottom line, and that's all you can trust them to do. Literally all. That's it. That's everything. Like, we've seen it too many times. Again, just the bold-faced lies from companies who will say one thing and then do something completely different under the table. I'd love to, like, if there are any artists either on the speaker stage or in the listener panel, I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Whether you use Adobe, whether this has affected you, whether you're worried about this, or whether you need alternative software in order to continue working. I'd love to hear from you. If you can, just request to speak, or put your hand up if you're already up here. So I'm getting a few waves. If you want to jump up, then just request to speak. Happy to have you up. Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll crack on to like a couple of related questions, just while we're seeing if there's any other artists who want to come up. So when you're actually working, guys, this is for everyone on the panel. When you're working like on anything, whether it's cloud docs, whether it's just in general, when you're doing your job using your computer, if that's your work, do you do it in the cloud or do you do it locally? Or do you not consider the question at all before you even begin? I would love to get some input on how people are working up on the stage right now. Maybe Hoss, maybe you can tell us if you have a process or if you consider the cloud workflow or doing it locally.
I generally do everything locally. I use Telegram a lot for conversations. That's basically all I like to use for conversations. Any type of convo I'm having. I guess sometimes I do use Google Meets for conversations to have it, but yeah, I think I pretty much do everything locally. I have VMs and stuff on my computer, and I don't really think I even use cloud too much. If I do, there's Jackal. I use Jackal. That's not really cloud though. That's encrypted. Every single file is encrypted, and it's like a decentralized Dropbox. But yeah,
I was going to say that's Cosmos based storage, right?
Yeah, it's to me it's a really useful product. It's like Google Drives, but encrypted. Every file is encrypted, and you can share. Even if you had a website, you can share. If we had 10 employees, you're like, okay, I don't want some of these employees to have this info, but my partner can, and you can disseminate the files to whatever person you want, stuff like that. It's a really useful product. I think it's good. It's actually cheaper. It's pretty cheap too. It's not as fast as Google Drive, but it's pretty fast. It's not because it takes a little bit more. And then any files that are super old, I don't remember the exact timetable, but they use Filecoin for anything that's archived. So if you had a shitload of files and you're I want to keep these, but I don't use them all the time. You can have it archived and stuff, and yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, for the most part, I just do everything locally. I have external drives and a bunch of drives and computers and stuff, and I feel like my security's pretty good. I'm always trying to stay ahead of all my security postures and stuff like that. And but no, cloud. I guess cloud could be useful. I never really looked into a Kosh cloud for stuff like that, but that would maybe do something good too. If I was running a website, I would have it on Kosh for the most part. So.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think we all need to be looking at just in general more where our data is actually going, because that's us, that's who we are basically. Our digital souls are just being spread amongst a bunch of really large companies, and we don't really know what they're actually doing with that stuff. So those are those data points that represent us. And I think maybe we I personally really need to consider this, because I use Google Tools. I use all sorts of stuff that is definitely cloud-based. I fully admit to that. It's just so much more efficient, to use that stuff over other products for at least my particular workflow. So my goal is, right, the goal of Galactica is obviously to solve an awful lot of this, and that is to provide data sovereignty, real data sovereignty to everyone, and essentially make people free in the digital landscape. But until we have that sovereign internet, until we've built out that true sovereign internet with the entirety of Web3, not just Galactica, we just can't really get away from some things. Now, I say that we can't get away with it, but there are other options. So as long as you're willing to take a small hit in efficiency, in in usability or UX or any number of other small things, as long as you're willing to take that hit, you can get away from the big companies. You can. There's almost always a competing product that will allow you to retain, well, at least a lot more sovereignty than Google or any of the big cloud services. You just have to take the efficiency hit. So yeah, if you're interested in that kind of thing, I would suggest that you look up for whatever operating system that you're on. Look up the alternatives. For instance, I've been using GIMP a lot lately rather than Photoshop. I've been using what was the other one? OpenOffice. I think it was OpenOffice. I think it's something like that. Instead of Google Docs. I've just been trying to move away a little bit. Triggs, have you got any suggestions?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw my thoughts in there because I think about this a lot. I mean, I would love to move away from a lot of these cloud-based corporate products, but like you said, it's difficult. There are good alternatives. OpenOffice has been great. I use that one for sure. And yeah, GIMP has been a big one for me over the years because I try to avoid throwing money at Adobe as much as possible. Um, but some of the challenges I think that I've personally faced with trying to get away from these tools comes with collaborative endeavors. You know, if you're trying to work together with multiple people on creating content, it can be really hard to do that efficiently and effectively without cloud-based tools. And I think that's a really important space that I would love to see more open source software leaning into. Um, you know, just like as an example, a lot of people have probably heard of Obsidian, maybe not, but it's like a note-taking kind of like mind mapping tool that's really popular in, I don't know, probably more like developer communities and that sort of thing. But it is, and it's a local, you run like your own local server on your own hardware, so it's completely, you know, yours. You own that data. It's a great example of, you know, software going in the right direction. Downside of Obsidian is that it's not only is it almost impossible to collaborate with other people using Obsidian, but you can hardly even share it between your own devices. You know, it's like really restrictive in that regard. And there's a lot of other products kind of, you know, in the open source space that are addressing that same kind of, you know, solution space, I guess. But I guess that's the point that I have is like cloud-based tools really open up the collaborative potential of, you know, being creative with multiple other individuals asynchronously, you know, distributed across the globe. So I love the cloud solutions like Haas was mentioning, Jackal and Akash, and Kudos is another one. There's a handful of Cosmos chains that are, you know, working into this like decentralized cloud kind of space. But the application layer is where we're really lagging behind these corporate solutions where they have, you know, I've used Miro quite a bit for some collaborative work, and Miro's like a cloud-based kind of solution as well. And there really is no alternative. There's a handful of other products that kind of work towards Miro technology, but the reality is, if you need what Miro has to offer, it's the only solution. And so you just kind of have to accept that that's what you have to use if you need to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really tricky to get away from some of these ridiculous, if like just these ridiculous time savers. Like it's insane the amount of time you actually save sometimes with some of these products. But like I say, you have to take a hit. Right now, there's compromise everywhere. If you want your sovereignty and you want to keep as much of it intact as possible, you have to make sacrifices at this point in time, because you know the sovereign internet is not fully built out yet. Mostly because we don't have real people accurately represented on a blockchain. Like that's my view anyway. Because essentially, what is a cipher state? It's an extension or an improvement on a cloud. It's basically a cloud 2.0, but with sovereign free people taking up the reins. Eric, you came off speaker, mate. Do you want to say something? No? Okay, no problem. Strong silent type, Eric.
Sorry. I would just like to thank you for the Sprint Tournament award. I also have a question. I am one of the only one who post on Galactica on Father and left Lens ecosystem. And are you thinking of developing communication aware that were on X and Telegram?
Okay, I think I understood like most of that. So like you were talking about Favor and Lens and Telegram and developing new communication strategies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So 100%. So the primary thing that like Galactica does and is like it's a layer one blockchain for society. So with that in mind, we need really deep communication integrations. We need we need basically full decentralized social media from the outset. Would be my goal, personal goal, which means some kind of decentralized social media as a town hall, I suppose, for the cyber state, so that everyone can kind of come together and communicate in private, completely anonymously, however they wish to do it, and able to maybe utilize their reputation in various fun social ways, whatever it might be. But I think communication is the baseline for society. So yes, we are definitely going to be developing along those lines with whether it's like with things like Favor, Lens, Telegram. Obviously, we're already starting to make inroads in Telegram, but basically every Web 2 social protocol is a target audience for us, and a possible inroads. So we're looking at everything, to be honest.
Thank you very much.
More than welcome, Eric. As always welcome. I love having you up on stage, mate. Okay, so I guess that just leads to one final question on like the creative rights side of things. Should large companies have the right to use your data to improve their services if they're offering their services for free? Or what? I guess at which price points are we putting this? Because I don't know. I guess free, like kind of. I can't remember who said it earlier. If it's free, then you're the product. So if it's free, then you're the product. Then I guess you're giving people, you're taking their services for free, and you're giving them your data in return. Do you think that's a fair trade, even at free? Maybe Hoss. I think Triggs just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's so hard to say. I mean, I always valued my data. I've always valued my privacy, even when I grew up. Um, Throughout all these different innovations through web, but even as a adolescent, like I always knew that there, if you're using this, that someone could see it, right? Like I've always had that, even when I was like a young kid, like when the internet was like just becoming a thing, right? I was always like, someone could see this, or I was always paranoid. Like before anyone knew that webcams, like people can, before it became kind of prevalent, like, hey, you should probably cover your webcams. I always did that before they even told me about doing that. Because I always figured like, because I knew how to use the computer at a pretty high level. And if I can get into like things that I shouldn't be getting into, then I know there's other people that are doing it even at a higher level than me. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think no, but like I kind of understand it, right? If it's a free now, if the software is really good and it's like just making your life a lot easier and it's free, then you kind of have to know there's got to be some strings attached, but they should obviously present that like this is what, by using this product and make it just obvious. I hate when they do like the 50-page, disclaimer and it's like hidden within the text. Like it should just be like a real simple, hey, like, hey, if you're using this, we are going to use your data.
And then they give
If
you
you
that
don't,
they give you that option to skip all the way to the bottom without reading it too, like that big like friendly downwards button, just saying, "Oh, you don't have to read this. Just click on this. Go on."
yeah, and if they're going to do that, then like that particular part of the text should be real bold and like big, like the font. If the text is in like size 10, the part about them using your data should be like a size 50. Like it's just so obvious. Like it just sticks out. But they should also offer, if you want your data to be 100% free, not used or whatever, not available, then you can pay, $10 a month or something, and then leave it up to the people. People probably still go, I don't want to pay 10 a month. They can use my data, but like it should be an option, right?
I
So
got you, man. Yeah,
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 that's kind of that's
100%.
kind of my stance on it. It's even if they did offer the $10, it's like how do you know that they're not using it? You know what I mean? If it's not open source, it's like how do you not know? How can you find out? So yeah,
Absolutely.
man, it's
I mean, I'm personally of the mind that they should be paying us. Like, if there's this many people who are willing to offer you a service for free, then clearly it's way too really valuable, like crazy valuable to them. So they should be paying us. Chris, you had your hand up for a brief moment there. Did I run out? You're out of time. I'm sorry if I ran
Yeah,
out of time.
no. I wanted to say the same thing as CosmosHOSS said at the end. So, in a way, I think we can consider it fair, but there should be an option. There should be transparency, but yeah, the problem is we can't control it. So if we would pay, how would we know that they really don't use our data? So there's the problem. It's a trust issue nowadays, anyways, because there was so much social engineering, social hacking, and so on. I think the trust is not there anymore. So it's clear we need new solutions.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Triggs, go on, carry on, mate.
The question of fair is a tricky one. My personal opinion is that it's not fair when you look at the amount of money that is being generated by these software solutions where the customer is the product. These are some of the biggest industries around right now. Their valuations are insane. Their cash flow is crazy. And when you look at those numbers, then you look at what is actually being provided to the end user. I don't personally see that as a fair exchange. But I think that for the most part, we're kind of in the blind about what's actually, going on behind the scenes that's generating this value. I mean, I think that the average person doesn't really comprehend, and it's hard to. I mean, it's very abstract to comprehend the value of your data, right? Like um, a phrase that's used in the Farcaster community, I don't know if it's elsewhere, but I see it used there a lot, is the difference between stated preference and revealed preference. And the idea is that, people often say that they prefer something, but their actions betray that. And so, I think that it's obvious that the revealed preference for the majority of people is that they are glad to give away their data in exchange for the software because people keep using it. I mean, I quit using a lot of these social media platforms a decade ago because my revealed preference was I'm not okay with it. I don't think it's fair. And that was before AI or anything. It was just like looking at the numbers. I was like, nah, this doesn't make sense. I'm not selling myself for this price. But the revealed preference of most people was like they really don't care about their data, and they really just want to use the software. And if getting it for free means that these companies will make a bunch of money and make the product better and better for them, then they'll just keep using it. So fair is tricky, but what I think is the really important part is it in our best interests as users to support this kind of a business model? And that's where I think we're really losing, losing the song on this. Is that what's in our best interest is not what's in these companies' best interest. These companies that are making these products, they, the concept of the attention economy is starting to become pretty prevalent. We recognize that we're in this attention economy right now. That's where all of these tools, all of these platforms are maximizing their ability to capture our attention so that they can sell it for ad space. And I don't think anything about that process is in our best interests as individuals, as consumers, as participants in the economy. Selling ourselves, selling our data so that some corporation can get more ad revenue for, maintaining our attention and our focus. There's nothing in nothing in that recipe benefits us as individuals. All we do is we get more ads fed at us at a faster pace in a more attention grabbing, distracting kind of way. And I think it's just leading us down this path where as consumers, we're becoming more passive. We are waiting for someone else to tell us what to do, what to buy, what to, click on, what to upvote, what to downvote. We're being fed this information by these companies that are making money off of our attention. And they don't care whether or not it's actually benefiting our lives or making us better individuals or encouraging positivity in the world. They just care if it is getting them a better margin on their bottom line.
Oh my goodness, Triggs! I love having you up, dude. If anyone has not followed Triggs already, follow the man. He's a wealth of information. He's a fantastic guy, a good human being. So just follow the man. He's a very useful person to know, and he always gives such good takes. Now, exactly what Triggs was just saying, pretty much. You don't care now. So, you just imagine a scenario where you have, X company, they provide a really cool service that makes you, I don't know, 50% more efficient, right? They make you 50% more efficient. They automate away some of your workload, all this cool stuff, and they use your cloud. Now, you subscribe to the service. You're willing, and they offer this stuff for free, right? They offer all this stuff for free. You subscribe to the service. You give them all your data, right? You sign up with your email. You give them your name. You give them all your location data, and through the life of you using that product, you give them a bunch more data. Like you give them content. You give them images. You give them text. You give them all sorts of other stuff. You basically give them everything that you are on the internet, you give them. Okay, they are in control of your data. They're in control of your data points. Now, you just have to imagine the point at which they suddenly decide that, I'm going to take all of these data points. I'm going to take all of this stuff, your voice print, your images, the way you write, the way you speak, the way you act, your very mannerisms. Take everything about you and put it into an AI model, into a perhaps even eventually an artificial identity that can almost perfectly replicate you on the internet. Now, at that point, is free a good price point? Would be my thought there. Like if you are giving everything that is you to these companies, then you are essentially giving them the ability to create artificial versions of yourself. And then at that very point is where sovereignty and freedom suddenly become extremely important to you. But at that point, it might be a little bit too late to prevent some of the damage. You can still prevent some of it, but there will be damage done. Now, that's one of the reasons why we are building what we're building over here at Galactica, is to give you sovereign control over yourself, over your identity, over your data, and then, of course, make you completely private in the process, so that you can't be surveilled unnecessarily, you can't be controlled, and you can't be censored. But yeah, you need to start thinking about this stuff now. As far as I will scream from the mountaintops about the virtues of Galactica. But right now, you need to be thinking about this stuff before we come to mainnet. So just start considering where your data is going, everyone. Brilliant points from everyone. I absolutely love this. Now, we were going to have a little chat about AI art, but I think we might actually have to save that for another show. I realized that I promised that we would make this a more quick and more tight space today, and my back is actually starting to hurt a little bit. I won't lie. So I'm looking at maybe winding this down a little bit now. So you can look forward to maybe a little bit of stuff on the AI art. We might do an entire space or something on some of that stuff at some point. But I want to do some stuff that's beyond AI as well. In fact, you know what, guys? If you're in the Discord, I would love for you guys to give us a vote on maybe what you would like to see in some of the topics for these spaces, because I'm nothing if not interested in what our community wants. So if you can put those maybe in one of the, even in the general chat, that will do. Just let us know what kind of topics you would like to see from these spaces. So they've been kind of arbitrary lately, just kind of what we would like to talk about, what's really interesting in the news right now, that kind of thing. But I'm much more interested in what you want. So if you can give us some information, that'd be absolutely awesome. Awesome. If you don't want to, that's fine too. All right. So there's one last thing that I would just like to very quickly mention. We have the ChatControl. It's a regulation that is just coming in. It's just about to be voted on in the European Parliament. I just thought I'd remind everyone of this. So essentially, it is a bill that is it's a regulation that's being pushed in order ostensibly to protect children. So this is for protecting children online. However, many privacy advocates, many human rights advocates are essentially saying that it is a broad-ranging regulation that needs to be cut down in its scope due to the fact that it essentially allows, but essentially forces large social companies, big tech, all the big players to essentially constantly monitor all internet usage, pretty much for ostensibly for the reasons of child protection. But then also they will be required to run artificial like generative models on this data in order to find references to poor behavior, that kind of thing, and then automatically send that data to enforcement agencies. And that doesn't just include government enforcement agencies, that also includes NGOs. So this piece of legislation is, in my view, personal view, far too broad-reaching, and there are other ways of achieving this kind of thing. So if you are interested, I'm not going to try and tarnish your view or tarnish your opinion of anything. I just want you to give mine. But if you are interested in this, then it's being voted on tomorrow, I believe, in the European Parliament. It's something you should have a look at. Just type in what is ChatControl into Google. You will find some information about it. So if you're in the EU and you're interested in that kind of thing, and maybe you want to make your voice heard to an MEP or something like that, just take a little look. It might be worth your while. So yeah, there you go. If anyone has any very specific or very quick takes on the ChatControl legislation, happy to hear them. Otherwise, we'll wind it down. Okay, perfect. No worries at all, guys. So if you, thank you very much, everyone. You've been absolutely incredible. Thank you very much for listening to the show, everyone. We try and be as, try and be educational. We don't like to do shill spaces. We know that there are a bunch of spaces in your timeline, and there are always projects that are shilling themselves and telling them, just screaming from the rooftops why they're awesome. We prefer to provide some value. I also shill, obviously, but I do prefer to provide value to the listener. So if you believe that you have been enriched by this conversation, that you have found some value in what we've been talking about, we'd be really thrilled if you could follow the Galactica.com account, and we'd also be super, super happy if you could give us a like and a retweet on this space. Even at this point, it's really useful because it gets the space out to more people and it gets more people listening to the recording. So that would be really, really cool. I think we're just going to do a quick sign out, guys. CosmosHOSS, I don't know, it's been absolutely great getting your opinions again, mate. I don't know if you just want to give a final word.
Yeah, shout out to the shortest space that we've ever done at 1 hour, which is still a long time. You know what I mean?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
No, man, you take care of your back. I'm a big fan of icing. I feel like ice solves every ache in my body. So I love ice, but maybe that's not for everyone. I love ice. Anytime I'm sore, I just throw ice on it. My wife thinks I'm insane, but I just believe in ice. But anyways, on a serious note, great conversations as always. Appreciate everyone that tunes in, listens to the recordings, that's getting involved in this space. More particular with Galactica. I think it's super cool. I love seeing all the engagement. I check my feed, and maybe Galactica does a post and they at me in it, and then I see all the cool engagement and excitement. And I think that what Galactica is doing is awesome. It's not just another DeFi protocol. I love DeFi obviously, but it starts to get a little bit same old, and it's a different, innovative touch on things, and I think it could be used in all kind of different avenues in the real world, which is great. I think not enough people build things in this industry that's catered towards everyone and everything. So yeah, I'm excited for that. It's been awesome to be, I don't know how long it's been now. It's been forever, it seems like, but it's been awesome to be along this journey and ride and see the community grow and people getting more involved and things like that. So I always encourage that. And yeah, man, thanks for the invite as always. And till the next time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Again, if you haven't followed Hoss, then make sure you do. The guy is an absolute legend in the Cosmos community. He's been with us pretty much since the start. So if you just make sure you follow the man. He's a good, again, another good human being. We like good human beings around here. It's a vibe, you know. So again, this is why I'm so thankful for our community right now, because like unlike many projects, there are real people here. There are genuine real people here who actually care about sovereignty and freedom and about like being real. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. Right, I'm just going to give you a couple of the statistics that I just got sent, which I think are kind of cool. So our testnet wallets have just hit over 200,000, which is awesome. We have hit the cap on, we've accidentally hit the cap on how many Gateway X SBTs that we can send out. So we're fixing that for you. So if you can't get your Gateway X SBT right now, it's because we've accidentally hit too many of the damn things. We've got, oh my goodness, we've hit 70K followers on X. Wonderful. And again, our Telegram mini app is just kicking off. It really is. You should definitely check that out, guys. If you're interested in like and maybe increasing the amount of UBI you get at mainnet, there will be some filtering going on because you know there's not like a huge amount of Sybil resistance going on there, so we will be filtering out any poor actors. But if you're a real person and you want to earn a little bit of extra UBI at mainnet, then just check out the Telegram mini app and see if you can start earning some points. It's just like a passive way of earning some extra GNet at mainnet. So that will be again in one of the posts. I think it's actually the pin post in the Galactica.com profile. Okay, everyone. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is Into the Cipher State. It is the premier public broadcast of Galactica Network. We are here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock UTC. We are here to, again, provide value to you guys, to our community, to anyone who decides to drop by from the wider audience. We're here to provide value, and we hope we do. So thank you very much for joining us, everyone. We will see you on the next one. Give us a like and a repost and a comment on the way out. And we will see you next week on the next episode of Into the Cipher State. See you soon, everyone.